Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Today's guest is Hannah Kaminsky, and she has a new book that just came out today called The Everyday Vegan Cheat Sheet. And she's going to be making a recipe from it. It's called Tofu Shakshuka. I've never heard of it before. I can barely pronounce it. If you're not familiar with Hannah, she has just so many wonderful books, but even more than the books and the recipes, she is probably the most, if not one of the most talented food photographers out there. She did the photos from my book, the 10th anniversary edition of Unprocessed, and she's doing all the photos for my upcoming dessert book. So I'm very, very happy to have her on the show on the debut of her new book. Please welcome Hannah to the show. Hi, Hannah.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, I love your name because it's my favorite lunch. Well, not you, but Hannah Yam. Great name. Palindromes, spelled the same backwards and forwards. In case people don't know who you are in the vegan world, I mean, you're fairly young, but you've been around a little bit ever since that one, your first book. Oh my God, that dessert book, that's still the best, I'll tell you.
Thank you so much. My gosh, I don't feel young anymore. I started when I was 18. I published my first cookbook then, and it's been a minute. So this is now my ninth cookbook, and I'm just so happy to still be doing it and still enjoying it.
That's amazing. 9 cookbooks. I don't know how you people like you and Kathy Hester have. I mean, it's killing me. It's taken my whole life just to do 3. How do you do it? Do you just sit there every day and think of recipes?
I can't not think of recipes. It's like everything inspires me, and I can't not cook. And it's my art and my love and my hobby and my job. So it all keeps coming.
It's just so cool how you're able to put it together because you do your own photographs. You do other people's photographs too, but it must be so fun. Your job sounds so fun.
The best because every day is a little bit different. Some days I work more on the visual side of things. Other days it's just all writing. I also do ghostwriting for a number of different publications.
Did not know that. When did you first become vegan?
I went vegan when I was 14.
Wow. That's 3 years younger than me. You win. That's incredible.
Not a contest. Everyone
Well,
gets there on their own terms.
well, no, but what's nice about it is that means you were probably still living at home and you had a parent or parents that allowed that. See, I had to wait till I left home, but that's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. My parents have always been so supportive. Even though they are not vegan, they always understood that I needed to do what was right for me. And as long as I was healthy and happy and not hurting anyone, I could do my.
What made you become vegan at 14?
I have the worst origin story. It's so shallow, but at that time, I found myself in high school, and for the first time ever, I had vegetarian friends, and I thought that was super cool, and I wanted to be cool, so I went vegetarian. And after a month of doing that, I was feeling kind of burned out. I was just eating like pasta, eggs, and cheese, standard trashy vegetarian food. And I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? And I started doing the research, and I realized there was just so much cruelty in the egg and dairy industry. And I said, this is not for me. I opt out, and I went vegan.
Wow. And that's incredible. Do you have any siblings, and did any of them go vegan with you?
So I have one older sister, and she is very much not vegan. She's just coming around to eating green vegetables now, I believe. So progress.
That's something. Well, you must have felt a little bit like a lone wolf.
Yeah, I've always been the outlier in the family, but I've never felt, left out because everyone was always willing to try the things that I would cook, and I always wanted to cook. So it worked out well.
Your food is so good. So you wrote your first book when you were only 18?
Yeah, I was actually submitting those photos as if they were assignments in my photography class in high school.
That's incredible. That's pretty, I have a couple people on that actually wrote books at 12 and 14, but that's amazing because you actually that was with a publisher even.
Yeah, my first publisher. They're no longer publishing, but it definitely got my foot in the door.
Yeah. Now this is your 9th book. Can you remember the names of all the 8 that came before?
Oh no, I get tripped up. I can try. So first was definitely Mostly Vegan, and then vegan desserts, vegan a la mode, easiest vegan pie, real food really fast, student vegan cookbook, super vegan scoops. I thought of it and I'm already missing it. I lost it. There was one more. And the sheet.
I'll see if I can look it up on Amazon, but it seems a lot of them are dessert.
On my blog.
It seems
But
because your blog, My Bittersweet Vegan, it seems a lot of your books centered around desserts.
yes, that's how I got started because the blog itself was a craft blog. And at the time, I was just easing into being a new vegan and not really knowing what I was doing. And I saw baking as more of an art and a craft than actual cooking food. So it's just a fun extension of that. So I started with baking and pastries and for a while molecular gastronomy, and that really taught me the basics and the science of food and cooking. And eventually I grew up a little bit and realized I had to feed myself and not just eat sugar all day. And I've gone much back further into the savory world.
Yeah, I think the book you forgot was the student one.
No, I got that one.
Okay, then I don't know which one you forgot because I'm pulling it up.
Great. There you go.
Nice. Very.
That's
So,
nice. Okay.
so tell us about the new book. Do you have a copy to show us? Because it's available just now today on Amazon.
Today is the official launch date. So this is all about sheet pan meals, snacks, and desserts, but mostly savory foods and generally very healthy, easy to make. I really love it because it's very inclusive. You can have people to the table, a big gathering, a big party, family, friends, or you can just cook for one and have leftovers that save and freeze very well. And I've got details for all of that too.
Wow. Where'd you get the idea for this book?
Honestly, I think it was just playing around and really enjoying the ease of cooking on a sheet pan, doing the whole meal in the oven, and then realizing this doesn't exist out there. There are plenty of sheet pan cookbooks, there are plenty of vegetarian sheet pan cookbooks, but not vegan sheet pan cookbooks. So to my knowledge, this is the first vegan sheet pan cookbook.
Why do you call it cheat sheet cookbook? Why not just the sheet pan cookbook? What's cheat sheet mean?
I just love silly little puns and play on words. And I feel like this is easier to remember. It's the cheat sheet to an easy meal in a way.
Got it. I love it. So what are you going to make for us today?
Okay, so today I'm going to make a shakshuka. Well done. And, it is an Israeli dish, traditionally eaten for breakfast. It is usually cooked on the stovetop in a big pot. It's got peppers and tomatoes and onions, lots of spices, herbs, and the sort of centerpiece of it all is poached eggs. So instead of eggs, we're going to use tofu.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Yes, I'm so excited to share this with more people because it's incredibly popular in Israel and sort of unknown in the US. So it's in the breakfast section of the book, but I think it's an anytime kind of meal. I love it for lunch, brunch, dinner, all purpose.
Well, Israel's such a vegan friendly country.
It is. Oh my gosh, I love it. I only spent a very short time there, but it was wonderful. I never had any trouble eating.
Is that where you first found I can't even say it, Shakshuka? Shakshuka. Sounds like babushka.
It does when you say it like that. I just like to travel the world through food. So I research places by learning what they eat first before going there. So I've been a fan of shakshuka for a long time.
Nice.
So I guess I'll get started.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
Okay, so this is super simple. I went ahead and diced the peppers in advance. I just got 2 peppers here. This one's a red and a yellow. You could use any color you like. I like to switch it up for variety. And I've got a half sheet pan here. A half sheet pan is actually the largest size of sheet pan that you'll want in a home kitchen. A full sheet pan is only used in a commercial kitchen. And if you can believe it, it is twice the size of this. So that's not going to fit in most home ovens. The half sheet pan is the one I use most in this cooking. So spreading that out, and I'm going to add diced red onion. Try to get into an even layer so it all cooks at the same rate. So for this recipe, I have it written using oil, but for you, I'm demonstrating how versatile and it can be even healthier. We're just going to use a little bit of vegetable broth.
Nice, thank you.
Of course. Most recipes are really adaptable like that. And almost everything is gluten-free. You can always tame down the salt to your taste or omit it. It has a lot of options for any sort of diet. And so this is now going to go into the oven. I've got preheated to 400 degrees for 10 minutes. That's just going to roast and sort of soften up the vegetables a little bit first. I guess while that's going, I'm going to work on our eggs, which is tofu. This is just regular extra firm tofu. I didn't press it, just drained of the liquid. And it's a really simple procedure here, not a fancy cut. I'm going to cut it lengthwise into thirds. This is also not a science. You can cut it however you really enjoy. And I like.
Is there a special tofu that you like to use? Like, do you use a different tofu if it's a savory dish versus a sweet dish?
I think it really just depends on the textures you're going for, because I would prefer generally a more firm dish if it was going to be firm tofu for a stir fry or something where it has to pull together more, something more silk and soft for a dessert or is blended. But this one, I'm just going to do an extra firm. You could also do a firm or a medium. The key is I don't want to sort of, dissolve into the stew, as it were. And you could now cut this into just cubes if you'd like, but I like to sort of play on the look of the poached egg. So I've got a round cookie cutter. I'm just going to cut out some rounds. It's just a little too thick to do all at once. So we've got our cute little tofu eggs.
Tofu eggs, that's.
And then for any excess here, you can always mash this up into a tofu salad, which is what I'll probably do later. Definitely don't waste.
How long did it take you to write the book?
So this one was very fast because it began as my pandemic pet project. While there was no work, nothing else I could figure out what to do, I just, quarantined in the kitchen and wrote recipes. So this was probably a year.
Wow, people don't realize how long it takes to write a book, do they? It's like it's longer than having a baby.
Yeah, and especially the recipe testing went on longer than that. I'm sorry if you hear yodeling, that's my dog.
Maybe he's just wanting some Shakshuka.
I'm sure he's very food focused. So now we've got our little tofu eggs, and I'm gonna get this bowl back here, pop those in. And season it. I've got nutritional yeast and kalinamak, which is black salt, even though it's actually pink. That gives it the eggy sort of flavor. You need to be quiet. And so you could always omit the kalinamak if you can't find it, or you're trying to reduce salt. But I feel like that's what really gives it the eggy flavor. So it will be different, but still good. Nutritional yeast also contributes that, but more of a cheesy, buttery taste. So we're just going to sprinkle that in.
Do you have a preferred type of nutritional yeast, fortified versus unfortified, or any special brand that you like?
I usually like the KAL brand. I feel like it's a really nice big flake. It's a good color. This is actually a different one, just from the bulk bins. I'm not sure, but I am definitely price sensitive these days. The cost of groceries are going up, so try to make it with what I can get.
Somebody's asking if that's Luke they hear.
It is. Oh my gosh, this child. I gave him a toy to play with, and it's not seeming to occupy him. Hoping he would get more time. He might just be upset because it's raining out and he can't go outside.
So every recipe in the book uses a sheet pan, right?
Yes, everything is on a sheet pan in the oven.
Even
that's
so, you even have dessert recipes for a sheet pan?
of course. Sheet cake is the classic, but I've also got some bar cookies. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there are definitely a bunch of wide variety of recipes.
Is Doggy in another room?
Let me see if I can give him something to distract him. I'm so
Yeah, I was
sorry.
gonna say, just bring him on camera. Maybe he wants to be on the show.
I'm sure.
Has anybody seen Hannah's first book, My Sweet Vegan? That's where I first heard about her. I had no idea she was 18 when she wrote it. It's incredible.
So here's the noisemaker.
Hello, Noisy.
Fine. Until I have to get the sheet pan out of the oven.
You know, maybe you should get one of those snugglies like I have for Bailey and just wear them while you're cooking.
Yeah, that might be the trick. What do you think? You just want to be close?
Yeah, he has
What's up?
separation anxiety.
Yeah, he's sensitive. It's okay. He's also a pandemic puppy. He's used to always being around.
That's the best part of the pandemic. Somebody was telling me yesterday is getting to stay home with their pets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because I've always worked from home, so it didn't make a huge difference in my routine. Just a few more minutes of the vegetables in the oven, trying to get a little bit of caramelized crispness around the edges. It's a pretty high temperature, but definitely nothing too extreme here. You could even ramp it up if you want to do it faster, although you would have to keep an eye on it, maybe stir it halfway through to make sure it wasn't burning at the bottom. And I'd love to take any questions if people had any. I can't see them, so AJ, you'll have to help me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can monitor the chat. Do you guys have any questions for Hannah, for Luke the doggy, or about Tofu Shakshuka, which is a very hard word to say?
We'll get it. We'll get you there by the end of this. You'll be a pro.
Oh, that is.
You're so great.
How old is Luke?
He is 4.5 now.
Wow.
So got all that puppy energy.
A youngster.
Yeah. Crazy kid.
Is there I know you moved to Austin. Are you finding that there's more of a vegan community there?
It's more, but it's definitely different. I love it, and it's definitely robust and vibrant. It's different because I feel like there are more specifically vegan restaurants, whereas maybe in the Bay Area, there are more restaurants that just have vegan options incorporated. So it's not necessarily better, but different.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm just always happy for the option. And I love when non-vegan chefs try to experiment with vegan things because it's more creative in the end. Allow them to.
So here's a question from Anne. Are Hannah's recipes SOS free?
Most of them are not as written, but they can be adapted. And if you ever have questions about that, I am absolutely accessible anytime. Drop me a line, email me, tag me on social media. I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Of course. I like to say when you get my cookbook, it's added value because you get me too. I seriously want to be there to guide you through it. It's not just text, end of story, nothing more. It's like it's a living document this way.
What's the best way for people to contact you? Like as Instagram direct message or?
Sure. Instagram is great. I'm bittersweet with 2 underscores, or you can email me. I'm Hannah at mysweetvegan.com.
Nice. I put that in the show notes.
Yeah, and please follow me on Instagram. I hate to be that person, but it really helps. The algorithm is killing me. I know that everyone struggles with this right now.
Oh no. Do you have a Texas sheet cake in your book? Someone's asking.
I do. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it's a chocolate cherry cola sheet cake.
Wow.
I should have done my homework. I definitely got sheet cake in there. I also have sheet pancakes if you want that, which is really fun.
Wow, that's pretty clever.
I love that because for anyone who struggled with flipping pancakes, this takes all the pain out of it. You just pour it into one pan, bake it as a sheet, put it up, you got your pancakes.
That's really clever.
Yeah, the easiest pancakes you'll ever make. And you can easily modify them by just adding fruits or whatever toppings into portions of it and then cutting it and just serving whoever wants whatever pieces.
I love it.
All about the versatility.
You're very creative.
Okay, I think we are just about there. I'll put you down. That's good. Just getting a little bit softened here. And so now I am going to add the tomatoes. And these are just diced tomatoes. I prefer to use fire roasted tomatoes, but I couldn't find any for whatever reason. And all the juices go in here too. The recipe calls for 2 14-ounce cans, but it also means 1 28-ounce.
Yeah. Do you have a preference for tomatoes? Do you ever do the fire roasted ones? Those are my favorite.
They're the best. That's what I would love to use here, but I couldn't get any at the store. I don't know what's going on. Like the bad old days of all the shortages at the grocery store.
Yeah, I get those. Actually, I'm really lucky because I live by a store called Rayleigh's and they actually carry those. I used to have to order them online before.
They are getting more common, widespread, so that's good. So to that, we're just going to add our seasonings, which are ground cumin, coriander, and smoked paprika. Sprinkle that all in. And then also some crushed red pepper flakes for a little bit of spice. And if you want it really spicy, you could always add in some sriracha or harissa would be great here. Your favorite hot sauce, cayenne pepper, anything spicy. And then just stir it in.
I don't think of Israeli food in general as spicy.
It can be. Harissa or shug are 2 of the most traditional hot sauces or spreads, dips, however you want to use them. It really depends on who's cooking. Overboard. And then this will go back into the oven. Let's check. Oh, before we put this back in the oven, it's even easier than I thought. We will put our tofu egg in here. So just sort of spread them out in even intervals. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not making a pattern, but just to give them some space.
Now, was this tofu egg your idea?
Yeah, I just thought it's a simple way. It's obviously not going to be exactly like an egg, but it's egg-ish, and you get all the protein, and it's savory, and it's salty. It hits all the right notes for me. Right. And then this goes back into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. And you're just looking for it to get bubbly around the edges and hot all the way through. That's all it takes. Do I need to hold you? I don't know what he wants. He might want to be held again.
And so how long do you have to cook it for?
10 to 12 minutes. Looking for it to get slightly brown around the edges on the tofu and bubbly all over and hot all the way through. Nothing specific.
Maybe put them on the counter. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite type of cuisine? And Lily wants to know if you cook for your pup.
I do. In almost all my cookbooks, I have at least 1 dog recipe. So in this, we've got puppy training treats under the snack section.
Right. Is Luke a rescue dog, and does he eat whole food plant-based?
So I consider him a rescue dog. I found him on Craigslist, and it's sort of strange circumstances. I'm never going to know his full story. After I said goodbye to the woman, I never heard from her again. So I never got the papers that she promised or any proof of vaccination, anything else. And I don't know what's up, but I'm glad I got you. Right? And most of the time he eats whole food plant-based. We really like the wild earth dog food.
Oh, I tried that, but the pieces are so big, Bailey couldn't fit them in her tiny mouth.
He eats everything, so I'm very lucky. He's not picky.
Nice. There's a question. Have you tried the new egg products that look like hard-boiled eggs? I've never even heard of them.
Yes, actually, Wonder Egg. They're based here in Austin. And I'm super excited. I'm going to be working with them, hopefully on a promotion with the cookbook very soon. I love it.
What are they made out of?
I believe it's definitely a nut base. I think it's cashew and it's coconut.
Wow. And how do they get the yellow?
I'm pretty sure it's turmeric.
Cool. Hannah's waffles with avocado looks so good. If I had known you made a sheet pancake, that's very intriguing.
Yeah, next show. I'd love to share that with you.
That is such a cool idea, especially if you're feeding a crowd. It's a lot easier because that's the problem with pancakes for people with big families,
Absolutely.
You have to sit there. See, he's much better when you're holding him.
I know. That's like the good news and the bad news. Now it's stuff like this.
That's like Bailey. They just want to be held.
Yeah. I definitely like a baby sling.
Here's a question from Gina. What is your favorite vegetable and what is your favorite starch?
Ooh, tough questions. Probably top of mind favorite vegetable, cucumbers. They're just my
That's a fruit, but that's a fruit.
Ah.
Because it has seeds.
Yeah, okay. So traditional vegetable. If you're gonna be that strict about it, that's harder.
Well, it's yeah, I don't write the questions. I just read them.
I don't know if I can answer then if I can't say cucumbers. Okay, asparagus. There you go.
Yes. Oh, that's cool. And what's your favorite starch?
Favorite starch. I should have been prepared for this. I'm coming up blank. I'm gonna say maybe purple sweet potatoes.
Oh, those are great. You could just say your own.
So beautiful.
Hannah Yam.
Yeah, those are your favorite.
Yeah. Lily says she'd like to see the pancake recipe. That is in the new book that just came out today, right? And I put a link to it several times in the chat.
Yeah, if you go on Amazon, you can buy the Kindle version and have it on your desktop or your Kindle right now.
Right now. So Jessie says that your client list on your website looks impressive. How did you develop your profession?
Oh, it's been a journey. It's so much of the community and word of mouth and support from other working artists, freelancers, but also a lot of what I call cold calling. But in this day and age, it's just cold emailing. So I'll find products that I already love, just go through my pantry. What am I using? What am I enjoying? And I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I am already a big fan. I use your products all the time and I support you. How can we work together? And I've built some of my best relationships that way. There are a bunch of companies I've been working with for over a decade now, and I love them.
That's so cool. What are some of your favorites?
Okay, top of mind, Hodo. Hodo Tofu, they're based in Oakland, which they used to be my neighbors. I love them so much. I'm actually working on a shoot for them either today or tomorrow. Fabulous people and fabulous tofu. Who else? Miso Good and Oh So Tasty, they're connected. It's a miso paste that's ready to use sauce and a cup noodle that uses content, which is seaweed instead of noodles. So they're gluten-free and very low calorie. That's
very cool.
Great.
Here's the question every guest, and Luke will probably get it too. What do you eat in a day? I mean, it seems like you're always testing recipes. And I'm just curious, you've tested so many of mine, or at least photographed them. I mean, how are you able to eat all that? You're a tiny little thing. I can't imagine you eating the entire, German chocolate cake yourself. Do you have neighbors?
I certainly could not eat all myself. A lot of it goes to neighbors or friends. And I'm also part of my Buy Nothing group on Facebook, which is wonderful. It connects me to everyone nearby. And I say, hey, neighbors, I have a bunch of extra cake. If you'd like to come by, bring a plate. And I just have 8 bakers.
Does everybody have a group like that? Because I'm thinking about, I'm going to be teaching a a master dessert class soon, and I'm going to be making so many things, and I'm not going to be able to eat them. So how can I get it? Like your group would be in Texas, so they probably wouldn't be able to come up here. But are there other groups like that, other parts of the country?
There are local chapters almost everywhere, especially major cities or bigger towns. I would definitely just look on Facebook or Google Buy Nothing group near me. It should pull something up.
That is very cool. Yeah, Gina's saying, please tell us more about Buy Nothing. I'm just hearing about this. This is fabulous.
It's done so much for me, and not just getting things or giving things, but it just builds community, because then you get to know your neighbors and who's living near you, and it creates a closer sense of togetherness. So everyone's out there for each other. So I've gotten a bunch of free plates and props and things last minute, because they would have a tablecloth and someone say, I've got what you can borrow. And it's really great.
This is fascinating. See, I always say I learned at least one thing on the show, and it's called the Buy Nothing Project. And apparently there is one right in my town. Oh my goodness.
Almost everyone has one. Just go look.
Wow. And you can, there's an app you can download too.
I just go on Facebook. There's where that group is. So it's very easy for me.
That is fabulous. Thank you, Hannah. That is really cool.
Of course. I'm such a fan. And I think everyone should know that they have this resource available, especially when we're trying to be more frugal, save more money. Times are tough.
But let me just say, just playing devil's advocate, do you ever worry like giving strangers your address, that kind of thing?
I don't. I feel like it's a self-selecting group. Also, the entries are capped because there are so many people here. So it's not just any random person on the street that can join. You also have to prove that you are in the neighborhood. So there's a sense of accountability there.
Wow, this is very cool. They had something when I was in LA, and I can't remember it now, but it wasn't like so much like if you had like a cake left over, you wanted people to eat, but like, I think it was called Free Cycle, where like you just had stuff and people, you could just say, here, take it,
Absolutely. It's the same sort of idea, but this is more personal, I believe.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Of course. I love sharing that.
Thank you. What's your favorite appliance to use?
I'm going to be basic, probably the air fryer at this point.
I love the air fryer. You haven't written an air fryer book yet.
I haven't, but I feel like that's out there. There's so many great vegan air fryer books. I know Kathy Hester has one. I believe, I know other people do. There's a lot of great resources already. I don't know if I could add much more to that.
Which air fryer do you have?
Let's see, it's over here. It's the Insta Vortex Pro. So part of the Instapot family.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really like the oven format because you can fit more things in it.
Yep.
How are we doing? Oh, we're almost done.
So I know you said this might be your last book, but it seems like you got to at least do one more. Don't you think it'd be better to retire on 10?
I know. I'd love to have the even number. I do have an idea for another cookbook. I'm not saying never, but I would need to find a new publisher and more time, honestly. Right now, I'm super busy with freelance, and I love that. I find it much more fulfilling, honestly.
If you did write a 10th book, do you have any idea what the topic would be?
Oh, yeah, I've got a full outline, but secret for now. I can't share. I'm not ready to share it.
Okay. All right. Is it something that's been done before, or is this a brand new concept?
It's hard to say that anything hasn't at all been done before, but I don't think it's been done before from a vegan lens.
Nice.
Yes, this looks done. Down to burn myself. Here we go.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice and steamy. And then just to finish it off, I like adding something green for contrast. In the book, I have written parsley, but I've got some scallions here today. You can also use cilantro, mint, a mixture of them, anything you like, or just nothing at all. A little freshness is nice. And that's it. And traditionally, this would be served with pita bread or any other sort of flatbread, couscous. You could also do sweet potatoes and soy starch.
That's a stunningly beautiful dish. But
I love
everything you do, I think you're a very visual. Everything you do is so pretty.
Thank you. Often I do think of the way a recipe will look before deconstructing how to make it look that way.
Yeah, that's incredible gift you have. But I'm sure it tastes good too. It's not just, doesn't just look good.
That is certainly the goal. Do you want to be here? Okay.
No. So do you use the app of Buy Nothing when you want to contact people to come eat the desserts?
No, I don't. I go on Facebook and there's a separate group for it, and it's just very seamless that way.
Wow. Jessie says, I think the photographer in Hannah informs her recipe creation.
Exactly. It has to be beautiful, but also delicious.
Oh, that looks so good. Would you just eat it like that, or would you maybe serve it over a grain?
Yeah, as I was saying, it'd be great over couscous, pasta, potatoes. Traditionally, this is with pita bread. You could dip it in it. Usually a very soupy stew-like. And if you like it more stew-like, you could always add tomato juice or water to loosen it up more.
Nice. One of the viewers is saying, I see that Hannah has a recipe for corn ribs. Is the cob itself edible?
It is not. You will still want to eat them off of the cob. But the way that it cooks on the cob that way, it sort of curls around and makes it look like a meaty rib, and it gives you that same eating experience. So it's really fun.
Yeah. Do you have a most popular recipe or most popular book?
I do. So recipe on the blog, it's so strange, but my most popular recipe on the blog is Taiwanese stir-fried cabbage. It is just stir-fried cabbage, period. The
I gotta
most
check
popular
that out
recipe.
now. That's
If you
incredible.
Google stir-fried Taiwanese cabbage, my blog is the first hit.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why. I
That's
love it. It's a great recipe, but it's very simple.
I mean, because when I think of you because the first book I got was your first book, My Sweet Vegan. And I remember it was just incredible. So that's so funny that that's what you're known for.
Absolutely. And my most popular cookbook, also contrary to that, is Real Food Really Fast, which is super healthy, quick, easy food. 10 minutes or less, real everyday meals.
Yeah, well, that's what I think people want. I'm searching under cabbage and I'm coming up with Cabbage and Kings. How would I search? Just Taiwan? Would that be the keyword maybe?
Oh, no, Cabbages and Kings is the title of the post. That's it. You found it.
Oh, okay, got it. I was looking for the recipe. Okay, I'm going to jump to recipe and see why this is so popular. What is Taiwanese cabbage though? Because I've never heard of that.
It's another type of cabbage. It is very mild, almost sweet. I like to say when you stir fry it, it remains crisp but buttery almost. It's a whole textural experience.
That's incredible that like such an easy recipe is your most popular.
I think it says a lot about what people are creating these days.
And that's probably why that book is the most popular. Yeah. How do you tell though? I don't have a blog, so I'm curious. How do you know that that's the most popular?
I've got stats. I can view what pages are getting the most hits.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Okay. Gina says, Chef AJ, I know you don't like to talk serving size. Visually, would you say 2 tofu bites and a scoop of veggie? I don't know, for me, it'd be about half the pan, but I don't know. What is a serving size by you, Hannah?
I'd say this is about 4 servings. If you want to think about that in quadrants.
Yeah, thank you. Jill Nassanow. Hi, Jill, who's been on the show many times, fabulous plant-based dietitian and cookbook author in her own right and culinary instructor, says, this book is amazing. I was surprised at how many things you can make on a sheet pan.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's what I want to show people, because I feel like it doesn't get the full respect it deserves. People think it's a very limited sort of resource, but it's a lot more versatile than one-pot meals. And everyone loves a one-pot meal. But my problem with that is that everything ends up having the same texture. It all steams or boils and it just gets kind of mushy. But a sheet pan, you get more crispiness, you get more softness and tenderness. It's just a much more satisfying eating experience.
Wow. And it's probably a lot easier to clean up than having to like saute things and use all that stuff, you know?
Absolutely. You just got this one pan. And if you wanted, you could also line it with foil. So you serve your dish, you toss out the foil at the end. No cleaning.
I love it. I love it. So here's a question, and I'm assuming it's for you, but I'll answer it in case it is for me. It's hard to tell sometimes. I don't have any of your books yet. Which would be a great one to start with? So I'll let you answer. I'm assuming it's for you. If it's for me, then just type it again.
I would say Real Food Really Fast. It is perfect for beginners or newbies in the kitchen because everything can be made in 10 minutes or less. These are all simple, everyday pantry staples. And honestly, it's ruined me for more complicated recipes. If I can't make a meal in 10 minutes or less, I really have to get in the mindset for it.
Wow, that makes sense. Here's a question from Lori. Do you worry about acrylamides when you do sheet pan cooking at higher temperature? It's so funny. I never worry about any of that stuff, you know?
I don't. No, just get high quality pans and they should be good.
Yes. So Tanya says it was for Hannah, and yes, she did answer it for you, Tanya. So thank you for clarifying. Stacy says, my mom loves cheesecake for her birthday. Have you ever made a vegan cheesecake? I've been searching as her birthday's in a couple of weeks. So maybe you could tell us what book of yours they could find a wonderful vegan cheesecake recipe.
When I got started, I was known for my cheesecakes. I do a mean cheesecake. I think my best cheesecake recipes are in sweet vegan treats. You want to look that up.
Wow. I can't imagine you know, that you did any, I mean, my sweet vegan was so comprehensive that I can't imagine anything being better than that. I don't have the other ones, so I shouldn't talk, but I just remember that book, and it was like, it was really like, there weren't a lot of vegan dessert cookbooks out there at the time, you know?
Right. Oh my gosh, it was a different world. And that is why I put it out. There were no options. And I certainly couldn't go to the bakery and just get a vegan cupcake like I could now. So I had to make it myself.
You know, and the thing is, Hannah, like people that like animal products for whatever reason, that's not why you like desserts. So like, you don't eat a muffin because you love eggs. You know what I mean? So I think if for people that are unwilling to be vegan, it's really easy to get them in the door with desserts, because any vegan dessert tastes as good as any dessert that's not vegan, because it's not eggs and dairy that make desserts delicious.
Agreed. And if anything, it's safer. I mean, you can eat the raw batter, no raw eggs, and it's healthier. There's no cholesterol, no matter what.
Right. I know. I mean, I think it's, you know, the best thing. That I love that. Yeah. Do you ever teach classes though, like cooking classes?
I don't. I would love to, but I've just never had the opportunity. I'm always open. If anyone wants like private lessons, I would definitely do that. Hit
Oh
me
no,
up.
that would be great. You know, have you ever thought, you know what I'm thinking? Because you're so good with desserts. Have you ever thought of going on like cupcake wars?
Oh gosh, I'm not a person for TV. I don't know if I could take the pressure.
Wow. I went on that show. It was extremely stressful. I don't recommend
Yeah,
I don't recommend that experience at all. Or have you ever thought of opening a bakery?
certainly not. I've worked in enough bakeries, restaurants, cafes. I'm out of that world. I never want to go back. It's really hard. It's a hard life.
I did too. I don't know when people say you should open a restaurant. To me, like that's like the last thing I want to do.
Truly.
Great. Well, and I've been posting the link quite a bit during the show for people to get the book. Any last thoughts that you want to share with people on why this would be a great book for them to have in their arsenal?
I just think it's great because it spans all sorts of cuisines, all diets. There's something in there for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I hope people will buy the book, because we love to support our vegan books and our vegan friends. And I wish you every success. Oh, Jolene just ordered the book. Thank you, Jolene. I wish you every success. I think it's worth it just to get that sheet pancake recipe. Never heard of anything like that.
And you can also make that gluten-free, very simply.
Mind blown, let me tell you, because that's the thing. I don't do pancakes, because if there's more than one person, you just got to sit there and flip. And then by the time you get yours, everybody else's is cold.
Yeah, it's rough. So for a crowd, there's nothing better.
No. Oh, Jessie's commenting. She loves my earrings. You know, thank you. I got, which way? Yeah, I got them actually at an airport I got them in Las Vegas. Like they had like a lot of Indian things, and I got one in purple and one in blue. Oh, question. When you travel for work, what do you eat?
I pack a lot of snacks always. I mean, even if I'm just traveling down the street, I always have bars and things in my bag. I've learned I never want to be stuck without food. So protein bars are always an essential for me. I usually have some sort of vegan jerky, just like shelf-stable things, mixed nuts, trail mix, things like that. But in general, I have no problem finding vegan food when I travel. You can use happycow.com. They have pretty much every vegan restaurant listed across the world. And I found restaurants in Thailand there, in Taiwan. It's been fantastic. So there are always options.
Where's the last place you traveled to and when?
So ironically, the last place I traveled to, well, okay, so most recently I was in San Francisco. That's true. I was in San Francisco a week ago. So visiting friends just for a few days.
Did you go to Millennium? I know it's not in San Francisco anymore. It's in Oakland, but that was some restaurant, wasn't it?
Yes, I actually did go to Millennium, and it was as good as ever, and it's so much fun. I think if everyone can go, you should go. It is a singular experience.
Did you see Chef Eric?
I didn't. I didn't see anyone I knew, sadly. I was hoping to, but
yeah, he's amazing. And if you call him a day in advance, he'll do oil free. It's so nice when they can accommodate you.
They are incredibly accommodating and creative. They don't just give you like the whatever option without XYZ. They make it special.
Yeah. Do you ever travel to Canada?
I've only been once as a kid. I would love to go back.
Yeah.
I would love to travel more. I definitely miss that, and I'm just starting to gear up again post-pandemic. So
People are noticing how calm and quiet Luke is when you're holding him as opposed to not.
Now he's just like putty in my arms, I swear.
I'm telling you, Hannah, how much does he weigh?
He's about 12 pounds.
Oh my gosh, the slings go up to 16. I have one for Bailey. You can just be wearing them all day and then he'll be fine.
I need to invest. I'm going to get one.
And it'd be good for your bone density too. I'm just
kidding. Weight bearing exercise.
Absolutely. Do you even have time to exercise? You're like a machine. I mean, I can't believe how quickly you're getting through my photos. It's like, wow, every day like 3 more. It's amazing.
I definitely don't sit around thinking, gee, I had so much time. But we make priorities for what's important.
Yeah, but do you do any formal kind of exercise, or you just?
I walk him. That's about it.
That's about it. Well, that's good. At least get outside.
Oh, yeah, fresh air, a little bit of movement. We enjoy it.
Yeah, he's adorable. Well, thank you. I hope this book it's the top of the charts. I see it's rising. I've been watching it the last couple of days, so hopefully people will buy it. And it sounds like a great concept. I never really think about cooking with a pan, but now I'm thinking, even if you don't have ratatouille in the book, I'm thinking I could be doing my ratatouille like that.
Absolutely, that'd be an easy modification.
Really, really easy. I think Hannah is the therapy person for Luke. That's adorable.
Yeah, it's a reverse.
Yeah, instead of him being your therapy dog, adorable. Well, thank you, Hannah. And thank you all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. I am moving tomorrow. So the show is at 7 a.m. I've only once done a show that early, but I hope you'll join me because there are 3 plant-based doctors, 2 whom you've never met, and they're going to be doing a cooking demo. Do you have any plant-based doctors where you are, Hannah?
I'm pretty sure we do. I honestly have done enough research, and to be honest, I need to get a new doctor. But
yeah.
That's
why I moved to Northern California, because there were so many plant-based doctors. Well, thanks again, Hannah. And I know I'll be talking to you soon. And guys, check out the book. At least click the link, see all the wonderful things that you can find in this book, and consider cooking with a pan because it's a lot easier to clean up.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, Hannah. Take care.